If you haven't been paying attention to Pro League in a little while, then let me start by saying that now is as good as time as ever to start. And if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Mint. I'm a former pro player and major winning coach. And let me be the first to tell you that in the Europe MENA League in particular, it is super exciting to watch right now because we have possibly the two best rookies in the league. Obviously, the first and one probably everyone has heard of right now is Stompin over at G2. He's the very first NA import, America's pride, and he's having himself a fantastic season on G2, has them looking way more consistent, and that'll be a team that'll be just exciting to watch from now on. But in today's video, I do want to talk about the #1 rated rookie player right now, and that player is Wizard. We are 4 weeks into the season, and Wizard is boasting a 1.17 rating, just slightly edging out Stompin on the 1.16. And if we look at his games and where Wizard has come from, Wizard, for those who don't know, is basically the EU equivalent to Stompin. He's a former console player that switched over, and if we look at his stats in the Challenger Series, he was the best player in the Challenger Series by far, plus 58, plus 16 on the entry, with the highest rating in the league, 1.23. He ends up getting picked up by Fnatic, a pro organization in the EU Pro League. And then if we look at some of his results, he started his very first Pro League game was against Wild, where he actually did kind of struggle. He was 4-7, but still won it on the entry. He was the lowest rated player on his team in that game. But obviously, as we saw before, he's the highest rated rookie. He must have had some pop-off performances. Well, the last 3 weeks have been phenomenal for Wizard, and it's been a complete switch versus the Wolves. They did end up losing, but he was top frag, 12-8, 2-0 in the entry, and it was a big reason that, honestly, this game was a complete blowout by the Wolves, and Fnatic started to have some life in them and started bringing the game back. And then the very next game, they played VP, Wizard's hardest opponent yet. Obviously, VP looking like possibly the best team in the EML League right now. And Wizard went 15-10, which is +5, 2-0 in the entry in a 7-8 game that, honestly, they probably should have won this game, but was huge for his confidence going into the next match versus Secret, another top 4 EML team where Fnatic has to show up. They did end up losing 4-7, but again, he was the best rated player on his team at 8-8 and 2-0 in the entry. So Wizard, again, the last 3 weeks have been very good for him. He's been the best player on his team, rating-wise, statistic-wise. He's definitely getting a lot more comfortable in the Pro League, and I want to highlight with his stats, obviously, he's got the highest rating for a rookie, but also I want to highlight the fact that he's 7-0 on the entry. So this is a player that, again, you just don't see this. No one is usually 7-0 on the entry. That's very impressive, again, especially as a rookie. So I want to dig into the match replay files today. I want to look at that VP game where he was 15-10. We can pull that up. He was 15-10, 2-0 on the entry, and I want to see if we can figure out why he's having such good success on the entry, and just where these kills are coming from. All right, and hopping into this video, I just want to address most of my comments are something about the lines of, hey, where do you get these match replay files? Can I get these match replay files? And the answer is going to be no. These are exclusive to pros, casters, everything like that at the moment. When they put them out for public, then that's when you'll get them. It's on the Ubisoft website. I believe there's a match replay file thing in there, and when they hand them out to the public, you guys can see them there. Everything that I'm showing you here today is things that, like, the coaches, the other teams, they have these match replay files on their own. They're able to dig into, and they should be digging into them anyways. So it's not like I'm showing you guys anything legal here or anything like that. Like anyone that's playing Fnatic and playing these guys should be watching these match replay files anyways and getting the prep. Anyways, jumping into the video, we saw Fnatic take VP to Border. VP's had some pretty good, like, up and down success on Border. It's usually some really close games. So Fnatic, a young team, to take him to Border, I think, is not a bad idea. We do see Wizard here playing the mute in the break position. This position is a pretty aggressive position usually. Some teams will play a little bit more aggressive than others, maybe peeking the cat window that just got opened up right here. But usually it's to support that Aruni that is playing on the east stairs that we see. So when the Aruni falls back, then the mute player will fall back, right? You can't, if the mute player were to leave before the Aruni, then the Aruni was just going to be stuck on an island. So it's all setting up trades. That's just kind of how Boulder plays out. So the break player position, again, it's very important. But we do see him on the mute operator here. He has a C4 in his pocket. I love having a C4 operator in break because you're just able to get so much C4 potential outside the break door. Obviously, with the new CJX sound, I feel like it's nice and easy to kind of hear if someone's outside that door and pretty close. So we can throw it over the half wall. And also the cat window that we see right there, it does have an Aruni gate on it currently. But there is that C4 potential that he could use, throw it on the window, try to get a kill, something like that. So having a C4 is very good here. Also, the mute jammers that he has in break, I'm a big fan of this. A lot of teams, if they are doing an East take, I see Monty on board for VP. If they were to do an East take here, they're going to have to EMP the wall before they try to ace it open, which ace is not even up right here. But a lot of teams will try to open the break wall to clear the break player. And the other mute jammer he used for the break door so they can't drone him in this position. So far, setup-wise, I'm a big fan. I like what Wizard's kind of doing here, or at least Fnatic's strategy in this round. So again, he's also staring at the CCTV window. You do need to be careful of that. A lot of teams will like to lurk that window. As Monty kind of pulls east stairs with the shield, it's giving that illusion that it's an east take. A player could easily be walking to the CC window, just shooting a hole into it. And going for that backstab. We do see the C4 come out, and that actually is going to be his very first entry pick. So I believe he was 2-0 in the entry in this game. That's going to be his very first entry pick, taking out Joystick. Again, the C4s are massive there. We see the Aruni fall back into offices, so that is Wizard's Q. He's now also going to fall back. Fnatic's going to play now a bunker setup because they have band advantage situation. There's no reason for them to try to stay in their extended positions. There's still a lot of map control that VP has to clear out. So we see them right now. Here they are. The next step after break room is usually taking CC control. That player is a little bit isolated, the Legion, so he's actually going to decide to leave and give up that position. So they're playing extremely bunkered right now, which I don't think is a bad idea versus a team like VP. They are a team that usually time is a factor for them. They love late round executes. So just burning VP's time is a normal strategy that most teams will try to employ against them. We see Wizard now playing in archives, and this is really smart. He just pings right in front of him, right? He pings the wall. He gives the 5 ping. He's not peeking a deep pixel angle that could give VP a possible 1. If someone was to walk in the double door of offices, he would be exposed to. Instead, we see him pinging the wall in front of him here and saying probably in the comms into his teammates, hey, I'm holding this ping. When they hit here, you swing, right? So that way we're setting up trade potential. Really good to see from a rookie. His wall is going to get opened up here, it looks like. Nade over the top, probably taking out the mute jammer. So now we do see his wall getting up. He's going to end up sticking on the wall. Normally, this is fine because he's still setting up a trade here. He's not getting crazy. Look, there's 40 seconds left on the clock. He could just be swinging this like Aruni is right here. He could just be swinging this. Aruni looked like he was kind of baiting for him, maybe pretending he was the archive player, and he dropped. VP might not know now that he's stuck in this corner. It does look like Always is going to check it, though, so that's a really good experience, and right there from Always to not just fall for the bait. They use a double shield to kind of clear him out, but that's not bad. He was trying to not give VP too much, set up trade potential in archives. Maybe if someone was actually over in Armory, over here in this position, they could have, been able to hold radio as it got opened up, maybe set up a trade there. But overall, not about a bad round. He got the opening pick for his team, and solid game plan for them to kind of just fall back and bunker. There was like 20 seconds-ish left, and Fnatic did end up winning that round because of it, forcing those late executes against VP. So this time we are going to see him on the Mira operator. Love... If you guys are in my streams, a lot of time I talk so much about the Vector, and chat knows that I'm a Vector crutch. I just feel every team that I've coached, been on, whoever plays the Vector, whoever's playing Mira or Goyo, if you look at the stats, that guy's just got like a 2 KD. Like, there's just something about the Vector. It's just such, like, people, I don't know why people don't talk about it enough. It's like such a slept-on gun. It's so good. It's a headshot machine, and absolutely a crime whenever I see a Goyo running the TCSG. I freak out. So we are going to see him on the Mira. I didn't actually see where he put his first Mira window, so I am going to Just take a little look-see. We're going to go off topic just a second. Maybe I wasn't paying attention enough. Okay, so it is break. So that first mirror window, VP would have to clear east stairs before they can do anything to this mirror window. Although, however, there is no mute jam or anything, so they could just elect to, or there's also no Wamai, so they're probably just going to end up ash charging it. But it's just a layer. This is looking like a layer kind of defense where they're just going to use CC and like 90 and Armory, I'm sure, as well, and they're just going to use that control just to waste some time on VP. Probably fall back into the fountain bunker is what we see normally from teams. So this mirror window, he actually did end up putting far right as well. And I'll get questions all the time about like, hey, why do you put them, like, why is that mirror window far right? Well, it's actually the Armory player's responsibility. It's the Armory player's job is to be able to call if anyone is walking down the balcony. And if you put that mirror far left, you actually don't get the visions. You see how he's able to see pretty deep down that balcony right there. So he'll be able to call if anyone's going to go that, because that way if they're going to jump window or anything like that, he would be able to call it. Rotate there, maybe so we can get a little aggressive and peek off of, but we see 3 shields from BP, so this actually could hurt him putting the rotate here. Don't want to see him get stuck. I'd like to see him fall back now, and he actually is going to fall back now. This is pretty safe. Almost gets cut off by the backstab there. Dan on AC, playing Blackbeard, which is an interesting operator to play AC. But we see Wizard again. This is good. He's forcing them to clear him at the moment, right? He didn't just drop just to drop. He's actually wasting a little bit of time. Now that they're finally opening the door, over a minute time waste already, he dropped, and now there's some C4 potential. We see him ripping it here. If Montaigne was to walk through Armory, all that is soft floor, so this is a really good time waste. We have Fenrir right there in Archives who was peeking the door to see if maybe he can give him some info on where to throw that C4. But we are going to see the C4 come out. He is getting droned, so now he does need to worry about anyone walking on him from workshop. A lot of times this take is combined with someone front door. And again, he would have to worry about a lurk, but nothing to worry about right now. Although we do see Dan right there on the Blackbeard. It looks like he is front door, just busted through the workshop door. But it seems like he does know. And he's just going to stay nice and composed, ADS. Kill Blackbeard, which is probably a mistake on Dan's part. I don't think he should just be walking through that door ADS like that. But yeah, good job from Wizard. Just kind of sensing the pressure on the front door. They probably had someone maybe on the front door camera, or maybe he heard the door get shot out. They know that they have full top-down control, so he knows that they're probably going to go for a hatch plant. When they have top, they're probably going to go for a hatch. He tries to go for the C4 there, didn't get anybody, but his responsibility here, he does have this Legion over Intellers. So Legion over Intellers can stop a few of the plants, like if they were to plant in front of the drone hole. If they drop down and jump over the wall there, then he would be exposed to the drone hole. Legion can handle that. So his only job right now is to just hold the hatch drop. Unfortunately, it is a Montaigne with looks like a shield on his back, but no smokes coming out is interesting. Do these guys have smokes? They do have smokes on the Capitao. They choose not to smoke. Instead, they just fired, and that's going to be an easy kill from Wizard there to stop the bomb going down. And now 20 seconds left. Shepard in a 1v3. Not looking too good for them. This is probably another really, really good Fnatic round. It is. They're going to close it out right there. And yeah, just another round where, I mean, honestly, Wizard wasn't doing too much, and that's kind of what I'm seeing from these rookies in the match replay files, or even like players when they're joining the teams. When I did the Spoit one, I've taken a look at Stompin' before, just kind of digging through, and like the players they're not doing too much. They're just kind of letting the game come to them, and that's what I absolutely love to see in rookies. They're not trying to force peaks. Like when he's playing in his break position, he's not trying to go for any spawn peaks or anything aggressive, or he's just kind of letting the game come to him. And that's especially good playing against VP, because I'm sure that's their game plan going into this. So the vents, the third site's coming out, and we see him on the castle operator. Wonder where we're going to put the castle's really good here, because VP has been doing these east takes with the Montaigne, so castle's going to give them a little bit of something to have to clear. They're going to need to bring some more util ops, so we are going to see him actually get off the Montaigne here, and he's going to bring Flores, so this is a really good operator pick and good strategy so far from Fnatic. We see him playing that break position as well, and most notably, he's only got one wall Back up a second. He's only got one wall reinforced in his break. He didn't reinforce the corner. And so whenever I see the corner not reinforced, I kind of know that that player's not going to play super aggressive, because that would allow him to play more towards the door, not get wall banged, be able to actually guard Cat a little bit more. So because he's only got one wall here, I'm going to assume that this is more of a layer strategy. Again, they're going into that bunker playstyle, probably prep strategies for VP. He does have that hole there to stop any passport walks, so that's kind of his main duty in this early round. Break door is going to get open. I think that's going to be his cue to kind of leave here. We're going to see him start to back up. His castle also opened. If he was playing against a different team, he might have got caught there with that castle opening. Probably as soon as that castle was, he heard that castle getting open, probably a good time to leave, but this is okay. I think he knows how to play his Cat. That guy might be outside on the balcony, actually, but he's making an angle just to see if anyone's coming Cat. He's also got that pipe there, new in Siege X. If anyone was to walk through that door, he could just blow up the pipe, go for a kill. But this is a really good angle to hold. His position here in this 90 is that he has a player in his CC, right? That's the Fenrir. So if anyone wants to walk in break, he's able to just help fight the break door with him. If anyone was to jump through his window, he's also there to be able to help. But he's also the midfield position. So now we see the archive wall getting open, and the armory players on this side are calling for help, pinging. We can see the 2 ping coming out. So now he's playing in metal. He's also able to help for these walks. Looks like there was a call there that they're going to be giving up top floor. We saw the Fenrir drop off CC. Wizard also comes down the main stairs. Yeah, radio wall's open. So VP just clearing out radio wall. They're clearing out anyone in archives, and then they're going to be looking to just go down into bathroom, open up the wall, and try to get a plant behind this mattress. Fnatic seems to know this, and what the control they need to hold on to is just customs and bottom metal control. If they're able to hold on to those, there's actually angles that you can shoot through this soft wall and stop plant. However, you know, if they give the shield, like Dan, looks like he just busted the wall right there. If he has the bomb, he could use that shield to his advantage and kind of ignore those angles. Wizard knows there's a player outside front door. Looks like they're going for a double peek on that player, Sarks and Wizard there. I think that was a pretty smart double peek. They know that's the back pressure gone. They don't have to worry about it anymore. Now they know all the rest of the take is in front of them. They know it's that bathroom take. They're going to be going for a mattress plant, and we're going to see exactly what I was saying right here. Wizard, bottom metal. He has a very good position to stop the plants. We're not seeing any smokes, anything like that to deny the angles, but VP just kind of fragging their way out of this round. Not sure how these Fnatic players are falling, but Wizard does still have a good position here. He knows the bomb's going down. He's going to be checking again, but he's planning in a different spot. Pasha does drop off the top. That was VP honestly just kind of fragged themselves into that round a bit. Not sure again how the players fell, but Wizard was in the right spots. Team just kind of fell around him. What do we see? I'm currently 4 rounds in. Wizard does have 4 kills. So Fnatic is honestly impressing me in these defenses, though. VP not doing anything special. No crazy fast cheese plays. And that is just kind of VP. And you don't really see that on Border. You'll see a lot of teams kind of do a lot of those cheesy plays, especially on that Vents site. I think Vents is one of the easiest sites to rush in the game. You just kind of figure out where the Warden is. A lot of time the Warden's on like Armory. So you could ignore him. You can go for the other side of the... You could bring flashes onto AC, flash whoever's over there, go for a plant under the hatch kind of thing. But VP, going for a full clear, that kind of fits their mantra a little bit as well. Wizard, looks like same kind of thing, by the way. Armory, we're back to Armory. I don't think we changed anything, if I am correct. Maybe there's an operator I'm missing, but he's still on the mute, still with the mute jammer on those walls, so always is on that ace. If they were going to want to get him out of there, they're going to need EMPs on an operator, probably Pasha. Pasha does have those EMPs. Dan's going to go down first picked here, I think, from Groovy playing East Stairs or that suicide position, so this is really good. Wizard with those holes, passport door. A lot of players, if they want to clear that suicide position or that East position, they'll combine it with the passport lurk. We see Ace right there. He opens up passport. He's opening up the bottom passport wall. That's if the East player that was playing here currently, or previously, I should say, if that player was to go down East Stairs, he would be cut off from that passport position. However, I think Groovy got his pick. He's happy with it. He probably heard the ace charge open. He knows they're going for him. He's already backed up into offices. Wizard's already giving up that break position, and we see the same thing as we saw in the other round. Early pick, and now we're playing very bunkered against VP. So again, same kind of thing. This is the midfield position. What does he have to watch? Well, if anyone was to walk in, so we say midfield. So we have the Legion Extended and CC playing safe. Warden's job and primary job is to watch if anyone jumps windows, right? So he plays more door position and holds windows. Legion sits in this corner, holds for the books walk. So this is very good trades here happening. Middleman, Mute, has to keep an eye on metal, which looks like they do have barbed wire, so he's keeping an eye on metal. If anyone walks into break, it's his job to also swing and help trade Legion. So, and if anyone was to come, obviously on the office side, he's here as well. And then if they were to rush into archives and go for like a safe plant, because that might look like the gap, well, that's where they have util. They got smoke, able to smoke over the door, smoke it off, and they also have Wizard on that C4 as well. So far, really good setup out of Fnatic for, strategy-wise, I do really like this. So we hear those ace charges getting used. I think that was the break one. I don't want to go too much into third person, but overview rather. But they are opening the break wall again. I could break this down in another video, but east takes, usually it's like take east, open up break, clear the break player. Now they're going to try to open up this 90 wall. Groovy with another pick though onto joystick. Groovy with 2 this round, going absolutely huge. Wizard, I love to see this. A player, we're in a 5v3 situation, and he's not trying to do too much. Again, we see another 5 ping coming out. He's saying, hey, if a guy walks into break, this is what I'm holding. Swing off me, Legion. Really, really smart. And I love to see that in a younger and newer team and a newer player like Wizard as well. So 5v2, I expect to see them fall back to their last layer where we saw last time. So instead of him playing in archives, though, he is going to be backed up. He's going to make those holes for a C4. Rotate there. Why not? Looks like he's making an angle for Groovy. Groovy's holding an angle onto metal. They're probably going to try to play trades on this angle. And 5v2, I mean, this round should be pretty much wrapped up at this point. Good trade on the metal right there. Player was able to take out Groovy, who was holding metal. But yeah, they're just setting up trades. Love to see this out of Fnatic. 5v2 down to a 3v1. Like, I mean, you'll take that any day. That's fine. VP's obviously happy going like 1 for 2 there. But all it is at the end of the day, it's Siege is just like chess. You just have to, especially when you have man advantage for anyone that played chess. Same thing. If you have piece advantage, you need to be setting up your pieces that everything has to be traded at that point, and you just make sure everything gets traded all the way down. So 5v2 turns into 3v1, turns into round end. All right, so Fnatic up 3-1, which is honestly impressive. Again, VP looking like the best. I mean, I made a video on VP, best team in EML, possibly, right? VP looks a little bit back. Their ping issues are fixed. They're boot camping right now. They also look a little bit more in tune to the meta. They're not afraid to run shields. We saw a triple shield round out of them. Now we see Pasha on shields. Okay. I've seen games where they are definitely moving a lot quicker. Joystick on blitz, running into the site in 1:30. So VP's definitely looking back, and Fnatic, again, 3-1 on Border, which is a tax-sided map. It's good to see for their development. Wizard 5-2 at this point. Same thing with the Mira. Looks like the exact same round. I would say maybe that's the only thing that I'm seeing out of Fnatic is they're not adjusting too much. They're just saying, hey, it's kind of working. Let's just kind of run it back. Looks like, again, they get the same exact style. Pasha is going to go opening pick, and I mean, who am I to say anything? Somehow has the intuition that always is about to walk in. He obviously heard the door get ripped down, but I'm not sure if he heard him walk in there. Good hip fire, drop shot, because obviously with CJX, you can't ADS. That was a little bit risky. Maybe just drop onto the cage so you can ADS the guy, but ends up cleaning him up, and it's now a 5v3. Wizard back down in this position, looking for another kill. A C4 doesn't connect. Maybe heard someone above. Unfortunate, too, that doesn't really create a hole that he could watch the door. He could shotgun it if he wants, but he's not going to. Doe call goes out. He's aware right now that, hey, that front door's open. Someone could walk in the front door as well. There could be a second lurker. So he's just staying alive, watching his gaps, so to say. Ruby does end up going down. That's good for them because, you know, someone can now hop on the cams. We'll say that's one thing. Maybe it's just not his position, but I haven't seen him hop on cams once. We are 4 on the 5th round now, but they've also had man advantage, and he is playing a little bit more aggressive spots, so that could be it as well. Just playing off of audio now, it does seem like they know that there's a player downstairs, maybe Passport. Does seem like Shepard is in there. This is more of a horizontal take. Calls are going out that they could be in square or courtyard. But VP's shifting here. Looks like they were going for lower picks. They're now taking top floor. They know it is given to them. And this might be a mistake from Fnatic. They forfeited top floor pretty early. Yes, there's no top-down up, but we do have the ace breaches coming out. And this time, Wizard is not going to be able to play up against that reinforced wall. We are seeing these... again, these breaches get used. He's pushed back. He has the same angle that he used the last time to stop the plant, and there is no shield this time. And probably no smokes either. Yeah, no smokes, but they do have flashbangs. They could... I think as I said that. Okay, I heard the flashbangs getting used. Now they're able to drop to go for that plant. They VP actually used util this time. Joystick flashed him, ends up getting the kill, and that's the only thing that was able to stop the plant. I don't know where the rest of Fnatic is. Again, they had this teller player here in case this guy jumped over the wall or sorry, planted up against the wall. They could use the drone hole to stop the plant. That player ends up falling to Dan in court. All right, so there was a rehost here, which was a little interesting because we saw Wizard on Mira. I don't know if they knew that there was a rehost earlier because now we see him on the Valkyrie. And usually you're not supposed to be able to change anything. But again, I have no idea what happened here. So either way, there was a rehost, so that's why everyone's at 0-0. I believe he had, what, 6 kills or something like that in that first 5 rounds? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But anyway, we are seeing... the same defense vent as their third site, but instead of the Mira, he is going to run Valkyrie, which I do like because if they are falling off as quick as I have been seeing them fall off on vents, especially these Valcams, he threw one in CC. I think he had one in break. They are going to be very, very good if they give VP the map. If VP wants to start making vert, yeah, they can get some C4 kills. They got C4 on him, C4 on the mute, C4 on Warden as well. So this is kind of playing into the strategy. This is a good little adaptation from Fnatic in general if VP does the same exact take. We do see VP kind of counter. They did get the intel that there's a Valkyrie. They brought an IQ. But that's going to be the little mini game to pay attention to for Wizard here. He's making the same holes for Passport. Break door gets open. And again, this is when he's going to leave. He's not castle, so he has to worry about East a little bit more now. That's another good cam. See if they're on vert right there. I expect Fnatic to kind of do the same thing. That's what I've seen these last five rounds is they have a game plan versus VP. A little bit of time waste, a little bit of layers. That, you know, in break for that first minute. Now he's already 90. Now he's in that midfield position. If VP was to somehow or for some reason go quick, he's here for trades. But Fnatic playing very tucked up, not giving them anything. Look at Fenrir just sitting there in CC, not moving an inch, waiting for Always to walk in before he drops. Okay, we do see IQ, and he now is aware that IQ is on board. First cam got shot out. They are going to start layering. VP is finally starting their push across the top floor, and this is a good time as ever to layer. Minute 13. He could stick on the main stairs. Guy opened up holes for him to challenge into Fountain, but I think this is really good. They're falling back down. Oh, he's still got a Valcam here. IQ's going to get it. Oh, no way. No way Joystick lets that happen. Joystick, IQ goes down. I don't know if he ended up getting the Valcam, but definitely not worth. Definitely worth for Wizard. C4 used, and that is a big pick. And this is, again, another 5v3 for Fnatic. Looking so good. All they need to do now is establish a win condition. What does VP want to do? And also, do not give them any picks. Dapek going down, presumably to vert. Dan ended up pistoling him, finishing him. But there's not much vert that should be able to come out. Just breach charges on Ashe, breach charges on Ace. Looks like VP going to go for a cage plant, which if you have 3 players up, I think it's the best execute you could do. You basically just drop someone down cage. You have a player front door that holds the workshop door, guy sitting out there, and then the third player just on the top down. Just making sure they don't run through workshop. Where's the gap on something like that, though? The gap is flooding up main stairs, especially if you have numbers, because you just run players up main stairs. The guy has to get off the vert holes and look at main stairs, and that allows the people in sight to run through. So I think that's the gap, but Fnatic, unfortunately, doesn't have the bodies anymore. Now it's a 3v3 execute. Exactly what I was saying. We got that front door player. We got the guy on the top down holes. We got the guy in cage. Fnatic just going to go for like a slow, weird swing here. Shepard gets off the bomb and gets Zarks. They didn't commit to it, and now they're going front door. I think that's a little too slow of trying to kind of swing. Like you gotta try to get through, right? There's 2 of you. One person got to bait out the guy. The other one can run through the workshop door. Fnatic didn't really seem like they had a good end round there. Again, 5v3. You hate to see them bleed picks down to the 3v3. Like it should have been super simple. They just needed to come up with that win condition. When VP does this, we are going to do this. Looked a little lost as a young team, but again, 3-3, it's not bad. 3-3, not too bad on border. Let's see how they can attack, right? But definitely some winnable rounds for Fnatic that I'm sure they also reviewed this and, you know, fix their mistakes going forward. And I do think we are gonna see him go toward that passport side. Okay, so he's the passport player, which, as I was explaining earlier, on an east take, you're gonna want to open that bottom passport wall open up. If there was a player on east stairs, he's now stuck. He has to go top. He can't go down the stairs. We're gonna see exactly that. Zoe impact getting used. He has the angle, but it doesn't look like VP's actually playing on east stairs, so might have kind of prematurely used an impact that maybe he didn't need to use. Getting some good drone usage here. He should now be able to walk up the east stairs and take control. Player jumps out. Cat, he should be able to trade this, though, when the guy jumps in. Yep, okay. Always a little unaware that Wizard was underneath him, but that's a good cleanup. Obviously, hate to lose 2, but maybe they'll get Groovy up. Zoe's also not a bad operator to have down here. If someone was playing on that suicide wall position, this wall that's reinforced right here, a lot of teams will elect to play this wall instead of east stairs. He could use an impact from underneath and make that player move. Maybe someone's on the cat window will end up catching him. So again, strategy-wise, this is a pretty standard east take, but I do like this out of Fnatic. Oh, we actually see him going down to Pasha, walking up the east stairs. Looks like an angle he quite wasn't aware of. Okay, Pasha has the break angle open up, looking down bottom east stairs. Could just be rookie player, didn't quite know his angle, or maybe they just didn't see the angle, something like that. But something you definitely got to check before you walk up the stairs. But we kind of see him on those cutoff. I was kind of curious how we are going to see him be used more as like a main entry, but it seems like he's kind of more on that second entry lurk kind of role. He's on his own. He's got the potential to, again, work picks underneath by himself or end up going for a lurk. Okay, instead of going passport here, this is the vent site. He's now the window player here. That's a good angle onto the default cam. Ooh, almost goes down to that same angle that VP made earlier in the first round. That would have been tragic. So Fnatic just kind of looking like they are looking for picks, outside break, outside CC, I'm sure. Wizard, just kind of the east player here. Nice angle right there, deep to the break door. This also has to be careful of triple, has someone running triple. So this is the angle that VP was using. It's actually a really nice angle back at them because I believe that's covering the box rotate. If that player in CC, that is Zombie, wanted to leave CC, he does have him cut off through that angle. We see him going back to it, possibly. We do. So now Fnatic just needs a way to push this player out of here. Kind of passive coming out. Okay. I don't... looks like a Deimos track went out. Joystick ends up leaving. Wizard, nice little cleanup kill. Ends up trading it back. So we're in that 4v4 again. It's a slower attack from Fnatic, though. They're just kind of working some picks. They need to still clear Armory out. And then some top-down has to come out. I think we got a nice little weird match replay bug here. We are now 1 foot tall and cosplaying as a rat. Okay, VP forfeiting top control. We now have to work top down with that Brava super shorty here. Also Deimos shotgun. VP with the Solus should be able to call all plants, maybe retake up the top stairs. Wizard on flank duty. So as I was saying in that before, it looks like they're going to go for a cage plant. You need that player out front door. That's going to be Daypek on the Lion. You're going to have that player on top down, making sure they don't run through workshop. That's going to be Jegs. That's going to be Groovy on the Deimos holding for the run through. Jegs is just going to drop into the cage, go for a plant. So if you have a fourth player available, you stick him on main stairs because before, like I said, in a 3v3, that's the gap. Main stairs is the gap, but in a 4v4, main stairs should be covered. Wizard looks like he's in exactly the right spot. Fnatic covering all the defaults really, really well here. All the basics. Joe Call going to go out, and we are going to see him go for that drop into cage plant. Wizard covering main stairs, good. To not just hold like a super aggressive angle down the stairs. He's going to get the guy going up main stairs on the flank. There is word that someone's flanking east stairs. Goo mine in him. Takes down the player flanking. That could have been risky with the goo mine in him right there. That goo could have easily killed him. And gets a quad kill on the other player flanking up. What I really like, what I'm seeing out of Wizard, is that, again, he's not trying to do too much. You can call it a baity passive playstyle if you want, But like even the way he holds main stairs, I would see a lot of newer players just hold a super aggressive angle down the main stairs or something like that, right? Like just trying to get all those kills, licking their lips like, oh, I got to get mine. Where he's holding more off angles, actually trying to win the round, in my opinion, right? And that's what you got to do. In those cutoff flank positions, I think that's exactly what you need to be doing. All right. Good drone usage, and I know what you guys loved when I said that in the exploit video, like, oh, loved some drones. But hey, I'm a man that likes the simple things in life, and that drone usage, yeah, he didn't do too much with it, but he got sledge. He saw that there was a castle. He went sledge, but it does look like they are going for more of a horizontal take, so maybe it wasn't even for the castle. Looks like more of a horizontal take. Kind of go into customs, look for a plant and tellers. They've got that glass. They got Brava smokes, I'm sure. Maybe even Twitch smokes at this point. But he sees the top-down holes, so he can't get into customs that way. There should be top-down holes above in Passport, but looks like there's not going to be. So he does find his way into customs. Hatches aren't even open. This looks like kind of a mistake on VP's part. Not really feeling the pressure right now. Wizard gets his entry into customs and feels pretty safe to drone. Again, hatches aren't open. A lot of pings coming for this Malusi in Workshop. They looks like they have a lot of vision on them. I'm liking this out of Fnatic. We're going off of this like this doesn't look like a default take. We're playing border for targets, for picks. We're trying to see where the weak spot is on the defense for VP. And with this drone game, we now see Malusi is stuck alone in Workshop. Maybe a player above him, right, has top down holes he can cover. So Wizard does have to worry about someone on that cage hatch holding the door. He can't just walk at this guy. But he does have 2 nades and always is also playing really smart. He's inside cage, which is a very hard position to get somebody actually out of, and you can play trades inside of there because you have to go pretty deep, pretty wide to kill this guy. But again, lots of drones on this guy. This looks like it's going to be their first pick. That nade's not going to bounce. Yeah, that is not going to bounce inside the cage. They're actually... Oh, no, he's just going to... Yeah, that's also not going to get... You can throw it over this gap and bank it off that back wall, and that would make the player move. That's the nade that you want to actually go for here. But he throws it wide, which we should just see always jump up on the desk like he did right there. He's able to avoid the nade. Garubi ends up going down to Shepard, and honestly, this is kind of a lost cause. Always gets another one on the Jags. I don't know if we continue to go for this pick. Always kind of problem solves and attacks a Wizard on his own, gives Wizard a freebie, but the round's over at that point. Fnatic couldn't quite clear that player out. A lot of players going down. Not a bad idea with the drones, but ultimately not working. VP kind of aware, setting up the crossfires. All right, same drone, same operator, probably same attack coming out of Fnatic. Not changing too much. And from a younger, newer team, maybe you don't have to change that much, right? A lot of the stuff is working. This is a close game. We do see him bringing Glaz, though. We are trying to go for more of those meta operator picks. I'm not sure what the ban coming out is, or maybe they just know that they weren't running Glaz, but or Warden, rather. But we are going to see kind of the same thing, probably this impact coming out. No holes in Passport to deter him. He now has that cutoff angle. If anyone was to run down East Stairs, easy cleanup for Wizard. They know they have a Tachanka in the hallway. Shepard has been liking to play on this wall right here instead of the normal suicide wall. He impacts under. That should make Shepard leave. And they have a drone in break. Fnatic has some really good drone play. I will say, they are not a team that's just droning, losing their drone economy. They're actually setting some really good drones. I hear lots of pings coming out. They're working really good targets. And we see them in a 5v3. So obviously picks going their way here. Now, if Wizard's going to walk up East Stairs again, I am praying that he's going to know the angle exists this time. But they are going to call him off. No reason to even take East Stairs at this point. Now they should just be looking at taking CC control. They have that break cam. Joystick ends up killing Sarks. And Daypek goes down. This is kind of a mistake that we're not working picks, but now we are. We got the 3v1 on Joystick. Back in man advantage. Not sure if he saw that Tachanka player crossing in archives there. But I like what I'm seeing out of him. He's not peeking too many deep angles. He's valuing his life. Right? It's the 3v2. We're now seeing a drone game come out. This is good. This is the pause in the round. You have plenty of time to work with. There's a minute in the round. Figure out where these players are and come up with a plan. There's Tachanka. There's Oryx. He knows where both of them are. Really, really good drone usage there. Now the three of them can just stack. They know exactly where they are. They probably have a lion. They have Blackbeard. There's the lion going out. They got Blackbeard getting the info. Both players are pinged. This should be pretty easy for Wizard to just walk in here. We'll see Jegs walking in as well. Gets the triple kill. Overall good round for Fnatic. Almost kind of lost another 5v3, but did end up recovering. Switching up his cam. And one thing that you should be doing as a player, by the way, is switching up your cam positions. You do not want to put the same cam every single time. You maybe have zones, and you should be figuring out where else you should be placing your drone, because match replay files exist. Other coaches are going to be going into here. They're going to be getting all your drones. They're going to be setting it up. It's all prep, right? That's all stuff done at a high level, and you should expect it even at lower levels, because people are getting better, and why not be better? Anyway, they got the intel that there is a Valkyrie on board. Fnatic, not hesitating at all, put Wizard on the IQ. He saw that one cam get on his drone. Again, really good drone that he was able to see that. So he already knows that one's there. He's got to figure out CC a little bit. Looks like they might want to do more of a CC attack. We see him stacked on this side more so than the east side. As I say that, I see a little bit of rotates coming out. Maybe an alternate shot call coming out on vents. He knows, yep, get the default cam. All right, so now this is looking similar to the other round. Shepard, another pick on a Groovy, and a minute into the round, we don't have any map control yet, and we're in a 3v5. So not too sure what I'm seeing out of these guys on this attack. Last time, I think VP just kind of gave them the control. Personally, I don't know exactly, again, what their attack was, but VP kind of just gave up, forfeited top control, which I do think is a little bit troll on vents. Because of how easy that cage plant is, how easy it is to win even with 3 people up. We saw it with VP. So VP are fighting a little bit more here, but they also have the Valkyrie on board, so they could end up falling with some C4 potential. So VP, again, they are holding the ground on Armory. Wizard going to be walking in to offices. Does need to be careful of these Val cams. This is slowing down the Falcons quite a lot. I think default cam's up there, unless that's a bug of the match replay. Do end up getting another pick, 3v3, and we do see, and they don't know it yet, but VP did give them the top floor control. So if we have breaches maybe on Daypack here, we don't. Breaches on Fnatic, okay, we don't. So we have no way to make top down. So now at this point, it's if we can't do our normal, is there any picks that we can get? There is a player in customs by himself. If they have eyes on this guy, if they have vision on this guy, they could go for that. Otherwise, they will probably try to do that 3v3 execute with the cage plant. That was a nice little drone move, like so small, but like that is so nice. They have all the info now. Probably VP not playing in sight as much, and they're able to get, if they fell back into blue hall, any information like that. So like just so simple, but I just want to highlight that. And dropping down, so VP actually did the smart thing here, because there was no vert. Like there's no vert op, they weren't making any vert. VP was, instead of forfeiting the site and playing outside and going for like a retake, or like what are we gonna have to do, right? Give them the cage, give them the space. They know, and that's the experience coming in, that there was no way they were making vert, so they dropped down, they just played in sight, held the hatch drop. That's exactly what you want to see. And again, especially with CJX not being able to drop down the hatch, you have to hip fire as an attacker. It's so defender sided now at this point. Super easy for him to just get the kill. Okay, so bathroom. I think this is bathroom site coming out now. Last time we saw his drone on the archives. I want to say that there was a call, and they're probably going to switch their attack up, because we now see his drone at a different spot. It's in CC. Fnatic getting again a lot of really nice pre-placed drones on this map against VP. We see him sticking on the Dokkaebi. It's kind of been his, except for the Zofia one time, or on the Armory site. Dokkaebi has been a primary operator at a Wizard. Very, very good gun. Obviously, the SMG-12. So good. Castle Barricade coming out. So, you know what? It might have been good to have that archive cam. Maybe someone else put it on his team and didn't call that there was a castle, but they also could have just maybe assumed VP. It looks like they're running back their same defensive lineup a little bit here. Not having anything for the castles does kind of suck, but they had Lion able to throw a nade, so he did ask his teammate for something there. Vert being made, he does have to watch out for that jumping in the window. There could be an angle on him. But again, he's in a cutoff position where Dan was kind of playing AC. This is usually where your more passive player will play, is in a position like this, just sitting outside AC. He's able to hold through, what this is through the door. A lot of players will sit on the armory rotate because, again, that armory player needs to hold CC window, so he sits on the rotate. This will see that guy if he tries to fall back through mini. What we see out of VP, though, is that guy's already gone. Wizard just doesn't quite know it yet. No calls coming out. We're going to see him start taking some space. Fnatic definitely taking their time against VP. Minute 15. Again, even when we do take top, maybe no real way to make Vert. So I'm not really seeing them take a lot of Vert operators, more so breaches on this map, which could be a mistake. I'm a big fan of like Ram on a site like this because if a team is looking like they are going to layer back, and I think what we are seeing is a layer. I think there's one player top floor, and that's Dan. We are going to see him fall to Daypack. Wizard definitely helping him there. And so now they do have the top control. That is a big mistake from Always. Good find there from Wizard. The patience on this young kid. Again, not forcing too much. Just letting the game come to him. Groovy with another pick. It's 5v2 at this point. So Vert not even needed. VP should have made them make Vert go for more of an end round execute. Here's that dough call right below him. Almost ends up wall banging. Shepard, I believe it was. Got the hatch open now. Again, I think if the top floor is this easy to get, having Wizard on an operator like Ram here would be phenomenal. He'd have the flashes. He'd have so much Vert made. But a really good round out of Fnatic regardless. Lots of picks were given to them. They got the top floor very, very carefully. Dan ended up not being able to win any fights top floor. And yeah, not sure where else they got the kills, but either way. Good round out of him. Wizard 9-4 at this point. Believe he was, what, 6 kills? Something like that. I think he had 6 kills at the rehost. So not sure if he's going to get another kill. Maybe my math's wrong because I think he went 15-10 on this map. So we could see him not get any kills in this overtime round. But regardless, let's check him out. All right, we are going to see a last second switch to Twitch on the Armory site. We saw him on the Zofia every other time, but this is going to be obviously something a little bit different for Fnatic. We have a Sense, we have a Aurora. He is careful with the passport if he is going to walk in and still open up an angle on the east. VP could be countering now with some passport holes. They do know a player is underneath. However, it's Oryx, it's Dan. He can go upstairs anytime he wants. He's not really trapped down there. That's a good operator for a roam like this. That or a Scopo, something like that, so you don't have to worry about just having to go up 2 staircases. Is careful about the passport holes, but ends up getting in anyways. If anyone was aggressive cat, this is a really, really good angle to hold from Wizard here. He's just communicating to his team, I'm sure, if anyone's aggressive. We saw Always in that aggressive position on one of the rounds, but looks like no one's there right now. Almost dies through top down holes, it looks like. Oh, he's going to go down to the exact same hole as he did the very first Armory round. Unfortunate. All right, just to save some time, this is looking like, and why not? I believe they're now 2-0 on this Armory defense. Nothing needs to change for Fnatic. We see Wizard on that mute again. Same mute jammers. Can't open the break wall. Same mute jammer on the break door. Can't open the or can't drone him in break. And we're seeing him again. Probably not going to play it super aggressive. Just leave whenever the Aruni gives up the space. Groovy with almost again the opening kill. Dan down to half health. Groovy getting great value out of that position. And we're just letting the game come to him. Doesn't need to go for any aggressive break door runouts. Break door does get opened, and he's just going to play pretty safe. Hold more so the run in here. Maybe a quick jiggle or two just to see if he ends up catching the guy outside break door, but otherwise just kind of holding break. Does hear that there's a lot of commotion outside books, so what he's trying to look for is if he can slide into break, because if they go for a window jump, him being in break would be really good for trades, but he is very careful with this break player. He's not trying to force getting into that position, and right now he doesn't look like he needs to at all anyways. Unfortunately, going down to a wall bang. Rest of his team cleaned up the book side. Him just kind of getting wall banged there. Probably a little bit of a misposition. Could have just stayed up against that hard wall he was up against. Little bit of a misplay. But Fnatic did end up winning that round. And 7-7 against VP is nothing to take for granted. That is for sure. I'm sure this was an absolute grueling game to play against them. They just slowed down the game so much, and obviously they're the juggernauts of EML. This is a good performance out of them, and obviously really tough position to be put in, to be on attack for such a pivotal round, 7-7 match point, and you're on attack against VP. Let's see what they do. So Vance looks like he's making that angle for Passport, but he's not actually going to play it. Could just be faking it here. It does seem like Fnatic kind of switch up their game plan a little bit. I might be seeing something a little bit more aggressive from them. We see Sarks on the knock, and why not match point be the time that we switch it up? Why not? Wizard not playing on the east side, more so playing Brig. Almost gets the wall bang there. Probably should have got it a couple times there, but unfortunately always does end up making it back. That could have been a huge entry for the team. Most importantly, though, stays alive. Dokal coming out. Maybe something aggressive again. I'm not sure, because I don't know where the rest of the team kind of is. I see a lot of people on the first floor, so he's just kind of doing distraction duty up here, just popping shots into break, just trying to pool, get some attention. Sarks with the opening pick onto Shepard, so obviously something did work there. He did distract enough. Shepard ends up going down. That is a huge first pick. As his team gets that first floor control, he's now using his drone, seeing if he could take top floor, if he can take a little bit more control here. It looks like VP did forfeit CC control. He could end up taking this. Ash is also up top of them, so we are going to see him walk in. I'm going to say that has to be a bug. That absolutely has to be a match replay bug, right? That absolutely, like, that is a reinforced wall right there. How do I fly around in this thing again? Here we go. I see a reinforcement on that wall, so I'm not sure what to think. But I want to say that is absolutely, it has to be a graphical bug. Unfortunately, as he gets around, he sees his arm because that wall was reinforced again. Doesn't kill the Valkyrie. 2 potential kills for him here, but he's still getting a lot of space. Dope calls are coming out. But that Valkyrie ended up calling him in CC, so he gets powered. That was probably the smart play out of Joystick. That's an experienced team move right there. They know most of the team is on that first floor with that knock lurk. They knew he was alone in CC. They go for the power. He wasn't quite ready for it. Overall, not a bad round, and I believe that's going to wrap it up. VP is going to end up going on to win this game, close it out 8-7. But overall thoughts, closing thoughts on Wizard. Again, he went 15-10 in this match. Lots of potential for Fnatic to win this match. We saw multiple 5v3s in this match as well. What I'm seeing out of him, he must be playing that second entry, maybe a cutoff kind of role. He is a more passive player. He's just letting the game come to him, but I actually love that in a rookie player, to not feel forced to like have to do anything, right? Like letting the kills come to him, especially on a map like Border, where you could definitely get carried away with a lot of fast entries and things like that. But playing really smart in his positions, again, valuing his life. We saw the 4K on Metal Stairs, where he was playing like a cutoff an off angle on the main stairs and not letting him just get the space. He's got good drone play, and yeah, I coming from console and being a rookie player, am impressed and excited to watch Fnatic as they hopefully get some more wins in the league. I believe they're now 1-3, only win coming to Wild. This definitely could have been another one, but they did get a point out of it. They're a dark horse for me in EML, but I do think there maybe have to be a change within the team. Like, again, they have potential to beat teams, but they're lacking something. There is something they're lacking, and hope to see them. Like, I don't think they're going to make EWC or the major or anything like that, but we can hope, and this could be a team that we keep our eyes on for Stage 2 of Pro League. Hope you guys enjoyed the video overall for the spectating. Again, I love digging into these and watching these, so hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know who you guys want to see in the comments, maybe down below. We can maybe see who else we want to see on these. I know someone asked for a support player, but if you really want to see someone on cams all the time, we could do that. Would definitely be a bit of a change of pace. But let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.